Welcome to the weekend show with Mediumjay. Today we're going to discuss brain rot and the effects that it's had on our society as a whole. Now, you ever notice how nowadays nobody gets famous organically? All these young people now that come up and you see in your feed or your algorithm, they all started putting clips up, right? They've been gaming this algorithm, right? And the algorithm, just takes it and does the rest with it, right? We are slaves to big tech and the companies that created them, right? This society can't stomach watching a video online for more than 30 minutes without having to break it up into reels, small little clips, 10 little seconds here, 10 little seconds there, little pieces. You don't even get a full story anymore. There's been so many reels that I've seen now where it's like top 5 of something, and it's just some guy that just decides to make this the top 5 of the best cooking techniques. Oh, the greatest, top 5 rappers, top 5 rappers or top 5 rap songs of 2017. And you're like, where, like, this guy's not established. He's some YouTuber or some fucking Instagram influencer, and he just decides that he's just gonna choose to make this whole video, which is about, 15 seconds, not even minutes. That's way too long. It's just 15-second clips, and he just, decides that these are his favorite artists or his favorite way to do things, whatever. It's getting to a point where I have to say this generation is fucked. I honestly think we're fucked because of this brain rot shit, right? Ted Kaczynski was right. Technology is taking over the children. It's enslaving our minds. We have become a slave to this technological feed where we just scroll. It's called doom scrolling now, right? We're just doom scrolling. You'll be scrolling online, and you'll go, all right, I have maybe you have a day off, right? You're not working. And you go, you know what? Let's check Instagram. 5 hours passed, and you go, God damn, the day's over. Cook myself a meal, and I go, well, after the meal, the day is all done. I'm not going to walk the streets, and get stabbed by an immigrant on the street, a Somali pirate that comes and robs me. I'm not gonna go walk in the streets dangerous, at nighttime, because everybody, because we're letting a lot of immigrants over the border, right? I'm just saying. So I might as well hop back online and keep scrolling, right? Fuck it, make it 10 hours, make my whole day just a series of TikToks and Instagram reels, right? I'm bored on TikTok. Let's hop over to fucking Instagram. Ah, shit, Instagram doesn't do it for me anymore. I watched, you ever scroll so much that you get into a loop and it goes into the scrolls that you started with? You know what I mean? That's, what society has become. All right, I scroll too much on Instagram. Let's go hop over to YouTube and watch out YouTube shorts, right? I don't even watch YouTube Fulls anymore. I don't have the time. Although I can dedicate 9 specific hours of the day to watching 4 to 5 second clips on YouTube. These short little things that get your attention, and you keep scrolling. You just keep scrolling, guys. Ted Kaczynski was right, man. Though the dystopian iRobot future were with walking droids to enslave humanity seems a little bit unrealistic. It's more of a future where people grow up and spend 80% of their day staring at a little screen, right? You're just watching your phone, you know what I mean? You're watching and scrolling. You're not accomplishing anything. It's very difficult to break the habit. But once you break the social media habit, your mind becomes smarter, you know what I mean? Put your attention into a book. Read a book. You know what I mean? Get out, go exercise, have an actual interaction, not social media interaction. Because it's so, the tapping a button and liking something is so, there's nothing of value that comes from it. You got, oh wow, I got 100 likes on this, what comes of that, right? Like, you know what I mean? Are people wanting your autograph now? Like, there's a big fucking disconnect that we have. I feel the more we interact with people online, as opposed to, you know what I mean, in your day-to-day life, the more interactions you spend online, it just takes away from real face-to-face time. And the algorithm is gaming a bunch of pretty women in your feed, right? I only like hip-hop posts and funny memes, yet somehow my For You page on Instagram is nothing but ass and titties, right? From some of the most dumbest chicks out there, right? These are the dumbest chicks you could ever find on the internet, man. These girls, like, say some of the most dumbest takes ever. They you know what I mean? If they do have a post where they're just talking or writing something, they misspelled, you know, they can't spell. They're just brain dead, right? It's brain rot. We've gotten brain rot on all facets of the internet, right? And it's like, I think I seen a post where Mark Zuckerberg was like saying, like, once like a teenage girl starts deleting her posts and her pictures of her selfies, right? Her selfies, starts taking down her selfies, they start sending her beauty ads to, like, make her feel better and to make her feel, you know what I mean? Start sending her, like, you know, some good feeling ads targeted to her so that she feels better enough about herself so that she can continue posting pictures of herself. That way, the amount of engagement that she was receiving can keep going and keep men that have been flocking to the app to watch teenage girls posting pictures of themselves. Thirst traps is what we call them. It's fucking mind-boggling, right? In internet culture, Brainrot describes internet content deemed to be of low quality or value, or the supposed negative psychological and cognitive effects caused by it. The term also more broadly refers to the deleterious effects associated with excessive use of digital media in general, right? You spend all your time on social media scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, low quality content, not learning anything, not even reading much about the captions or anything. You're just watching videos and checking out pictures of pretty women, right? The term, especially short-formed entertainment and doom scrolling, which may affect mental health. The term originated within the online cultures of Generation Z and Generation Alpha and has since become mainstream. Words of this brainrot culture were banned in some schools and in some instances in schools because of the special kids in the class constantly screaming them, causing the English teacher to pull out their hair, right? Like, it's like this fucking, you know what I mean? Like, I there's always a disconnect with the teacher and the students, right? In terms of the generational gap. But I think none of it hits more now because, these kids, they just make up words, right? And here's some of these words. These words include TikTok Riz Party, Skibbity, Sigma Riz, Gyat, Ohio, Phantom Tax, Sus, Giddy, 1-2 buckle my shoe. I think that's just thrown in there. 1-2 buckle my shoe. That can't be real. That's not real. Mewing, right? Mogging, Alpha, Chode, CP. Right? CP is. I think that might be child porn. I'm not too sure. I don't know. TikTok Riz Party. I'm not too sure. Skibbity. I don't know if it. I have no idea what these. Sigma is like not an alpha male. A Sigma male is like a lone wolf that does things his own way. Sigma actually, like, the term comes from a male that will lead the pack if there's no current leader, but if there's a better leader, we'll fall behind and not test the actual alpha in terms of better for the whole pack as a whole, right? So a sigma is generally a floater in between beta and alpha. You know what I mean? He could fill the shoes of an alpha or the shoes of a beta, right? But it's gotten to the point where people just say sigma, and in the end, you know, well, what's sigma? Sigma balls. This is what it is. It's fucking becoming that. It's just become that. Ligma and sigma has become, you know, ligma balls. Ligma is, you know, not really a word, but it's might as well. In about 2 years, it'll probably end up being in Webster's dictionary. Where you ask ligma, and in the dictionary we'll have to say ligma is a setup for ligma balls, right? Yeah, and sigma, it's generally just now it's just referred to as a guy that doesn't give a fuck, right? Riz is like, I guess the characteristic, like the charisma and characteristics of a guy, you know, seducing a woman, right? He's got, it's, you know, he's a smooth guy, you know, he's flirtatious, you know, he's charismatic, he's got riz, you know. It's stupid, I know, guys, it's stupid. Follow with me. This whole episode's gonna be about brain rot. It doesn't get better from here. Gyat. Now, gyat, I didn't know what it was for a while. I recently learned it about a year ago or so. Gyat is apparently like when you see a fat ass girl, and your first thought is god damn. Now they hyphenated god damn into gyat. It's just a gyat. Oh, that's a gyat. You know, a bitch with a fat ass. That's it. Ohio, you know, it was literally Ohio, but it's I guess it's the terms for, I don't even really know. It's the term Ohio is like, so, that's crazy. You know what I mean? That's just crazy. Coming out of Ohio, right? It's you know, it's Ohio, or only in Ohio. Crazy shit. Phantom tax is when you're with your boys and your boy is eating large fries and you take some fries out of his bag. That's the phantom tax. Again, some of the most dumbest shit you could ever come up with. Sus is a shorter version of the word suspect, which was popularized by the game Among Us, which is, you know, Among Us is like a small little independent game or whatever that blew up in the past few years, where there's an imposter among us, right? Like, you know, there's a bunch of people on a ship, you know, little cartoon characters. You walk around trying to fix this ship, trying to do your daily duties, but there's one murderer or imposter. And when you suspect that this guy is the imposter, you have to all vote him out. So instead, the typing, instead of saying this guy, I suspect this guy, or he's a suspect, right? To put him on the list of suspects because he's acting shady. It's better to just say he's sus. You know, they say he's sus. That's a word. Giddy, no idea. 1-2 buckle my shoe, no clue. Mewing is I don't know, online. I don't even think the adults know this, but mewing, they stated online. I had to look it up. They stated that it was a form of a tongue exercise, but mewing is like sucking in your cheeks and your jaw or something like that to give like an alpha look, right? You know, to get a good jawbone structure. I can't even really do it. I'm not a good mewer. I'm not good at mewing. I just gotta practice. But again, some of the most dumbest shit ever, man. Like if you sit down and think about some of these things for more than 20 minutes or so, not even 20 minutes, you know, no one's gonna give that much. You think about it for more than a minute or two, you start to go, God damn, man. I think we're failing as a society, you know, as a whole, as a society, we're just failing, and it's miserable. We mogging, I have no idea. I'm assuming mogging is the opposite of mewing. You know, mogging, just blowing up your cheeks. No clue. If someone knows, please throw a comment down and inform me about the skibbity word mogging. Alpha, again, alpha male. It's gotten to the point where it's like you see a guy do something cool and they go alpha. That's alpha, bro. Oh, that's alpha, right? It does. What I mean? We're just talking in jot notes. We're talking in meme catchphrases. Chode, essentially, is a chode is a dick that's wider than it is in length. So it's wider than it is in length. That's what a chode is. But I think and kids in my day would use this word chode, and I think the kids still use it as the same way. He's acting like a real chode, right? Like it's just like a loser or like a whiny motherfucker. Like it's like he's dumb or gay, right? Like gay, for the most part, most people go, oh, that's gay. Like it sucks, or it doesn't even have to be sexual orientation. It doesn't even have to be about the penis, right? He's just acting like a total chode. I think that's what it is. CP, again, I'm pretty sure that's just child porn. I don't know why that would be banned in the list of school words to be banned from, but I don't know. I'm assuming CP would be, it is obviously child porn's banned from daily classroom speech. But I mean, again, CP could just mean cyberpunk, right? I think, there's CP Rails, which is Canadian Pacific Railways, which is a terrible, you don't want to abbreviate that. Just spend the money on the decal to fully say, because when you see a big shipping container called CP, you probably get stopped at the border more often than just regular containers with maybe even nothing labeled on them, right? Either way, watching TikTok all day is not only a waste of time, but I feel is generally rotting your brain. Genuinely rotting your brain, right? If you talk to a 16 or 17-year-old of this generation, it's like some weird fever-pitch dream. When you see in the movies when the character gets really high and, the reality in their mind is completely different than the scenario that's going on, right? They're at a dinner party and they're just fucking drooling in the corner, but in their mind they're doing a whole bunch of cool shit. They're in their mind they're doing things perfect, right? That's what it feels like. It feels like when you're talking to a kid now, in their mind it makes complete sense, but you're sitting there going, is this kid fucking retarded? Right? Like you're sitting there going like, what the fuck is this kid saying, right? And it ends up in a whole, like, you end up talking to them in this weird meme speech with a whole lot of series of their own made up catchphrases that only make sense to their internet culture that they have immersed themselves in, right? These kids are what they call rot maxing, right? Where it's you're rotting to a specific new height, right? You're trying to break records in the rot. It's called rot maxing, right? You're just rotting to a degree that has previous generations would be baffled by, right? They're rot maxing their way to nowhere, rizzing their faces with mewing, staring at a gat till they end up in a skibbity toilet, right? Again, does this make sense? No, it doesn't have to. But it's the fucking culture. It fucking sucks, right? The whole usage of this kind of speech seems out of some Orwellian novel where the government or powers that be adopted a double-speak language to keep the population dumb and working low-skilled labor jobs, right? Doom scrolling as a whole is releasing the same kind of endorphins as a gambler at a VLT machine, right? You see those people. If you go to a casino, you see those people that are there, for the night. They're there for they might even fucking sleep in the parking lot, wait till the casino opens up again and continue. If you're at a 24-hour casino, you can go to the casino, leave, come back the next day, and you'll see the same person in the same fucking chair, and you go, Jeez, man, this guy's, he's not even playing the game. He's living the game. He's living in that machine. That whole little machine is their life. The flashing lights, the bright colors, the ticks and the whistles and whatever, ding ding dings. That's them. That's their hobby. That's what they do to relax and unwind, right? At the end of the day, some people go home, they doom scroll. I don't know what's better. I don't know if doom scrolling or VLTs is better, but obviously, I guess doom scrolling. But it's still a form of. It's basically saying what's better, crack or meth. Well, I guess crack is better, right? But it's still the same kind of fucking thing, and the same kind of endorphins work out on the same kind of the same kind of effects that it has on your brain, right? You see something funny, then something cringe again is something that makes you cringe up inside, right? Like you tighten up, it causes a visceral reaction to you. You see something and you go, ooh, maybe some loser is like posting about how he's such a alpha male, but he's a loser, right? He's a guy that obviously never had a chick in his life or whatever. He never got any pussy. But he's going like, man, if I was I would, if I was this, and he's talking in some weird fantasy land that just doesn't exist, right? That makes you cringe up inside. That's cringe. You see something cringe, then you see something that angers you, then you see something you like. Throw in a couple of fucking borderline nudes from a beautiful girl, and you have a dangerously addictive waste of time, right? It's dangerous, right? Because you'll be scrolling, because you're just trying to get to the next post. There's a time when I've been doom scrolling too. I can be completely honest with myself and say I've become a victim to doom scrolling too. And I catch myself doing it all the time, where I'm just clicking the next post or scrolling onto the next post, right? The endless feed. I think Mark Zuckerberg might have said like that introduction to the, or no, not even Mark Zuckerberg. It was on the there's a documentary about social media that came out a few years ago, and they said the introduction of the scrolling feed, right? Because it never ends. You never get to the bottom. It just reloads some new posts or old posts. You'll be scrolling through it, and you'll see it doesn't show you exactly what you want. It'll show you stuff that you want, then it'll show you stuff that you hate, then it'll show you stuff that might like. It's a whole fucking giant mix of a bunch of random shit that is kind of curated to you and kind of created to be the opposite of what you want, right? You end up seeing a wide variety of emotion. You end up going through a wide variety of emotions through scrolling, right? You see stuff that you go, I fucking hate that, right? And and your phone is literally watching your face reaction, right? So if you see something and you kind of grimace, you grit your teeth, the phone it'll register that it knows that that's what you hate, so it'll show maybe it'll 10x the next time something equivalent to that in between your post of what you really like. So you'll be watching what you like, something that you hate, because if you got everything that you liked, right? It's similar with gambling, right? If you won, that gives you if you lost every time, you wouldn't gamble. If you won every time, you also wouldn't. Everyone would gamble. Actually, there'd be no point. But it's like if it was a 50-50, there's really no fun in knowing the outcomes of gambling. The fun for most gamblers is that what's gonna happen, right? I put it all on this number and the fucking ball's spinning and anything can happen, right? There's a good chance that I'm not gonna lose it, but there's also that chance where it could hit, right? It's that same thing, that same kind of psychological effect that you get through scrolling. You never know. You know, you open your phone, you never know who's gonna pop up. Some random person in Indonesia cutting cocaine plants, and you go, wow. Scroll to the next one. Some guy in India taking a shit on the street. You go, oh, that fucking is horrible. Scroll to the next, and it's your buddy fucking smoking a joint saying everything's gonna be all right. You go, great. You know, scroll to the next one, and it's a kid getting kidnapped in China, right? You scroll again. You know what I mean? It's some of the most horrific car accidents you'll ever see compilation, and you watch it for a little bit, going, god damn. You know what I mean? And we're very primitive, you know. You see a fucking accident on the street, you know, you crank your head going, what happened? You know what I mean? What happened? You know, because it's not every day you see a fucking car flipped over, smoking, you know, on fire. You know, people don't like that someone's hurt or someone is hurt, but there's a weird feeling that we're voyeuristic. We like to, even though we don't like it, we like to see the effects of it. And we go, oh shit, glad that's not me. And you keep driving. Or you go, you see some horrible shit, some of the most horrible shit on the internet, some public execution. You go, god damn, I'm glad that's not me. I'm safe at home scrolling away, right? It's the equivalent of when you have, you know, the sniper with binoculars and he's just watching the war going on and he's going, I'm glad I'm not there. I just get to pick off motherfuckers, you know, deep from beyond the arc or beyond the fucking battlefield, right? Either way. Teens are spending more time isolated in their rooms, scrolling their phones with the illusion that they are socializing on social media, right? It's a social network, right? All your friends are there. You know where all your friends are? In the real world. Most people put out their best versions of themselves online. They put a bravado. I mean, I'm a victim too, right? I don't post, and you know, when I'm fucking going through a bad day, like, oh, I had a really rough day. You know what I mean? My eyes are all sunken in. I'm tired. I don't go on social media and go, listen, guys, I had the worst day of my life. This happened. You know what I mean? I made it. You know, I fucking, you know. You know, I'm in the back of a cop car. This shit sucks. You know, you know, the cops roughed me up. I got a black eye. You know, and no one's posting those photos, right? Motherfuckers on the, you know, maybe someone will post a photo of me getting my ass whooped by the police or some shit. But either way, most people put their best image out there. So it becomes very titillating. No, not titillating. It becomes very... Let me think of this word. It becomes very troublesome because all you see is the best versions of your friends, the best versions of the people you go to school with, the best versions of the people you work with. You know, everyone's showing their best versions, their accomplishments. We all share our accomplishments. We don't share our failures. So it seems as though when you have a bad day and then you hop online and you see people killing it in all kinds of fields, you go, wow, I ain't shit. I don't deserve. Yeah, it's nowadays imposter syndrome has to affect so many people just simply based on the fact that there's so many people only posting the good, right? Most people genuinely only post their good shit, right? And then, yeah, and every now and then people will talk about their failures. But to talk about your failures and to overcome them, I mean, most people don't... A true failure that hasn't accomplished anything in their life, I don't think gets the algorithm. I don't think the algorithm pushes some loser talking about his loser fucking friends and his loser fucking, you know, the fact that he hasn't worked 30 years. You know, the algorithm doesn't push that. They don't show that. So, like, there'll be people that are like 50 Cent will talk about his failures, right? You go, like, I had, like, a lot of failures in my life, and then you overcome them, right? And you go, wow, he had all these failures, and he overcame them. Wow. Like, I gotta, you know, it's meant to be inspiring. But a guy that's just failed goes, maybe I'm not meant for that, right? Like maybe I don't have that. I just keep consistently failing. And it's gotten to a point where this constant feed of low quality content is killing kids' attention spans, right? So much so that recently they have banned, there's been a push to ban phones from the classrooms in schools because teachers can't compete with the 30-second reels and TikToks explaining how to, quote, become an alpha and why being a sigma male is truly maxing. When you tuck your son in at night, he says, "Good night, chat. Good night, chat." Because his favorite streamer logs off and says, "Good night, chat," to the, the chat log, all the people in his chat room, right? And he thinks that's what they're supposed to say, right? He doesn't know. He's a little 9-year-old kid watching a streamer. And he goes, "Good night, chat." And he's like, "It's dad, by the way." And you're sitting there going, "It's dad. You're talking to your dad. There's no chat room here. You know what I mean? You're not talking to your fans, kid." But the adults, we don't get it, right? We're not immersed in, you know what I mean? This is the first time in the generation where kids have been grown up with nothing but an iPad, right? And there's some people that I've seen, right? And they have there's this Asian girl in my building, and she's growing up. I don't know if she's like a little teenager or like maybe 10 or 11 years old. She's young, but she's hefty. She's a big girl, big body. But her parents she's literally just on her iPad. And she screams to get her way. She doesn't really even talk really in full sentences. She just says, a couple word answers. Because when you're reading comments on posts on Instagram and shit, usually people go fire, right? If you're enjoying the day, fire. You know what I mean? Praise hands or whatever. Yep, like that. Oh, I like that. It's you don't get a full interaction that can make you go home and feel good about yourself. These people grow up with the iPad and they have a disconnect with a face-to-face interaction. So they go, "Fuck it, I'll just spend all my time," right? Because when you do talk to somebody and you give them that one or two, not even sentences, one or two words, people kind of, shun away from that. Like the average person goes, "Oh, this person doesn't really know," it's kind of like a social incel, right? Like they don't really get how to talk to somebody. They can't describe their feelings and emotions in a clear sentence or form of communication. They can't describe how they're feeling, and they don't really know how to interact or ask questions about somebody and have a face-to-face conversation. They can't really engage with the average person. So they go, feeling off-put by that the few interactions that they have in real society, they go, "Fuck it, I'm gonna gravitate towards more of these online interactions because online more people get me." You know what I mean? There's people all over the world, and more of them, I can game the system of having friends in Ohio or in fucking I'm in Vancouver. I could have a friend in Saskatchewan. All my friends in my city, I don't have friends, you know what I mean, in my city, but I can engage with somebody online, and it's more, I'm not nervous and I don't have to show my face or whatever, because nowadays, yeah, people are fucking very secluded, right? Yeah. It's all these kids know. That's all they know. I ain't gonna lie, man. We're cooked. this brain rot hasn't just affected kids either. I myself have fallen victim to it time and time again. When I'm at my home, scrolling around, my homie Taylor will send me a viral clip, right? Send me this viral clip of a guy ordering Chick-fil-A with the instructions saying, now I'm gonna show y'all niggas how to order from Chick-fil-A type shit. So first off, what you're gonna want to do is you're gonna want to, make sure you greet the server, greet the cashier, make sure you do it good. This is how they give you extra sauce in the bag type shit, right? And that's all the video was, is a nigga ordering Chick-fil-A, right? That's it. That's all the nigga did, was order Chick-fil-A. He had grills on, maybe he had his chains on, he looked all fresh. He's like, I'm gonna teach you, and he was all smiling and shit. I'm gonna teach y'all niggas how to order Chick-fil-A type shit. And he kept saying type shit so much so that I've adopted saying type shit as a filler for etc. Or when I'm not, when I don't know the next thing, I'm trying to say some shit type shit. Trying to say something type shit. It's like a parasite that has infected my brain and it's ruined my psychology, right? There's so many times where like I'm thinking and I want to say type shit and I have to force myself not to say type shit because of that meme that literally I've watched a couple of times. It's crazy. It ruined my buddy Taylor too. Taylor's like, he does that all the time. He does that. And he's like, I can't stop it, man. Like when he gets too excited and he wants to talk about something, you go, man, this I'm gonna show y'all motherfuckers how to, do this some shit, tight shit. So it doesn't even really mean anything. But it doesn't have to mean anything. It's the internet. There's no rules or regulations. It's just the internet, right? It's just anybody can post. The vast majority of people, I feel, don't deserve an opinion. They don't deserve to be making videos, right? Because back in the day, there was only guys like Stanley Kubrick. There's motherfuckers writing books and they had to be established. They had to earn themselves. They had to make quality content, TV shows. But now all you need is really a following on YouTube. You know what I mean? You have a bunch of people liking you on Instagram and you can get signed to a TV deal. You can make a fucking pilot, right? You can make something when really, you said some of the most dumbest shit ever and people almost get a feeling of a better than you mentality. Like, oh, this guy's so dumb. I like him though because he makes me feel better about how dumb I am, right? Like it makes me feel smart. And usually in my day-to-day life, I feel dumb. But now, it isn't all doom and gloomy. Some memes you could learn something, right? Some memes teach you some shit, right? Like, motherfucker, I'm gonna teach you guys how to tie a tie type shit. You know what I mean? My dad wasn't in my life, you know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody teach me how to tie a tie, so I'm gonna teach y'all niggas how to tie a tie type shit. First of all, what you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna loop it over, then you're gonna wanna make sure that it's tight and you get that bow right there, get that nice tie. You know what I'm saying? Tight shit. You don't want to wear a clip-on. You know what I mean? Ain't nobody going to respect you if you wear a clip-on. You want to make that shit legit. Tight shit. Spend the extra money. Buy the fucking, buy the quality ties. You know what I'm saying? Now, you don't want a tie breaking down on you in the middle of a fucking function. You feel me? Tight shit. Again, it's, you can learn something and it can be quite funny, right? Some posts can offer inspiration, showcasing one's skills or talents, right? But often far and few between. Most of social media is just dumb people doing dumb shit, acting like there's no consequences in life other than just for the sake of the video, right? Just the sake of the little clip, the 30-second, 45-second clip. You know what I mean? Motherfuckers, you'll see some of the most craziest shit out there, right? Motherfuckers walking up on a McDonald's counter and some black chick, or not even a black chick, it could be anybody, shaking their ass, or slapping the cashier. You know what I mean? There was I remember growing up when I was like a teenager, 18, 19 years old. There was this thing called coning, and it was you order McDonald's, you order any ice cream, order ice cream cone, and the term coning, it didn't really make sense, but you would grab the ice cream by the ice cream. You wouldn't grab the cone and you just go thanks, and you just eat the ice cream right out your hand, and the guy's sitting there with it, holding the cone with no ice cream, going like, what, you know what I mean? The server's like, dude, that's all you want? You just wanted the ice cream, no cone? Just grab the fucking ice cream. And I filmed my buddy doing that, and it got a ridiculous amount of views, and I was like, great, you know what I mean? We're famous now. But that's how the internet works. Is some of the dumb, you know what I mean? For hard work, talent, and merit only gets you so far. You got to do some of the dumbest shit out there to really get yourself recognized. Imagine in the beginning stages of the internet, when it was just getting started, when all of this was just getting started, early internet age, and people were still figuring it all out, a young, talented skateboarder would post his clips of his hard-to-do tricks, right? Landing them, but to no avail. He realized something. It's like, man, not many people even care about fucking skateboarding. What's going on, right? I'm killing it, right? I ain't the best skateboarder, but, I'm doing some of these hard-ass tricks, but there's no traction. No one cares about it. All the fucking hard work and talent I put into this shit. And he slowly realized something, right? More people would react to him failing and horribly injuring himself. That would get him more fucking views than if he just landed the trick. The same trick, him failing several times. More people watch the fails than they watch him actually land it, right? This is the whole premise of Jackass, right? It's cool to watch Tony Hawk land that 900, right? But I think it's cooler to watch him try to do a 900 and fall into a pit of giants, a giant pit of snakes. And then when he finally does get out running, like, oh God, man, all those snakes bit me. And then his friends are laughing, and his friends run up on him and tase him, right? That is, that is so much more engagement. You can farm the algorithm and engagement than if Tony Hawk actually just does Tony Hawk, right? He just does cool ass tricks. No, nowadays you need a gimmick, right? Tony Hawk came up in before the age of the internet. Well, during the age of the internet, right? But either way, he was the best. He was record breaker. Either way. It is what it is, man. What does this all mean, right? Why does people enjoy fails more than actual accomplishments? Is there some sort of grand explanation? Is there some philosophical breakthrough that we can have that maybe can sum up our social psychology? Nah. All of it means absolutely nothing. A whole lot of nothing. Whole lot of nada. It doesn't mean shit, people. It doesn't mean nothing. We like watching dumb shit. Simple as that. Nothing more, nothing less. It makes us feel good about ourselves. We look back on our life and think about all the dumb shit we've done, and we go, God damn. You know what I mean? At least our life is not like this dummy who lit himself on fire and jumped into a freezing cold lake. Damn, I'm doing better than that motherfucker lighting himself on fire. I never done that, right? All my fails fail in comparison to that guy lighting himself on fire and jumping into the lake. But you want to know something? You want to know something, people? That dummy who lit himself on fire has 1.6 million followers. And he now gets paid like about $1,000 every time he lights himself on fire, right? The age of brain rot comes right around the time we have microplastics in our brain. Wi-Fi and cell signals also affecting us, right? There's so much shit That's fucking in our brain, and you know what I mean? It's fucking it up, right? We become dumber as a species, right? We have a car that parks itself for us. We can't do it. Why bother? Most people Uber anyways. They don't even bother to drive, right? Who gives a fuck? No point in getting my license. I'll just $7 Uber it. Potentially it could be Ubering around could potentially be cheaper than fucking having a car and insurance and all that shit, right? Might as well get a motherfucker to drive for you, right? Who gives a fuck? And why cook? Why learn the values of cooking when you could just fucking go to McDonald's? You know what I mean? $5 you get a fucking little burger. You know, you got your little burger. You're good, you're set. Right? Come back, another $5, you got a little burger. You know, you go to fucking Burger King, get those nuggets for like $2.99, you're set. $3.99, some fries, you're set. Right? Your whole day is less than $20. You're set. But is all of this good? Chances are probably not. This shit's fucked. I ain't gonna lie, coach, we're cooked. But still, we stay up late night watching absolute garbage on a tiny screen in hopes for a little bit of that sweet release of dopamine. That sweet dopamine hit. Our serotonin's flooded. You know what I mean? Our eyes get wide and we found something that's funny. So funny we might just share it to our buddies, right? I watched a guy take 5 feet of bread to make a sandwich, and he had the catchphrase, peanut butter jelly the long way. Peanut butter jelly the long way. The long way. And he echoed it, the long way. Peanut butter jelly, the long ass sandwich. Peanut butter jelly the long way. The long way. It's peanut butter jelly the long way. And now I can rest easy after seeing peanut butter jelly the long way. The long way. I can sleep comfortably knowing that man has a ridiculous long sandwich and he made peanut butter and jelly off of it. And he decided to post it saying a silly catchphrase. Peanut butter jelly the long way. The long way. All my problems of the day, all the times I felt inadequate, when I was sweating, breaking my back at work, you know, I went to the gym, you know, pumped the iron, sweating, you know, off my brow, looked up and I don't see any results, right? I'm still kind of fat. I ate cake the other day. You know, it was my birthday the other day. I was feeling bad. I ate a bunch of ribs. We went out to Montana's. But, you know, I ate so much, just felt sick. You know, I ate 4 plates and here's the thing. I ate 4 plates and I felt the need to share that with social media. I was like, I need to post each plate. Or no, I ate 5 plates of ribs. 5 plates of ribs, all you could eat ribs at Montana's on Wednesdays. It was amazing. So good, but terrible, you know, terrible to decide to overindulge in ribs. I ate at least 4 pigs that day. It's crazy. But all of the doubts, all of the fears that clouded my mind fall by the wayside after I watched a guy put peanut butter and jelly on long bread and scream the catchphrase, peanut butter jelly the long way, the long way. As the hunter-gatherer part of my brain can now sleep well, knowing I shared a funny meme to my friends, as if it were a buffalo that I hunted, being able to feed my village for the weeks to come.